Hello, my name is Roger Nemeth, President of Audit Detective and developer of the tax help software IRS Transcript Management System. This presentation will show you the features and benefits of our innovative patent-pending software. Your number one expense in tax preparation and tax resolution is payroll. This software significantly reduces the workflows in obtaining IRS transcripts from the IRS and then presenting that data in a professionally formatted transcript analysis report, allowing you to reduce your time on each case, increasing your margins significantly. Imagine entering a taxpayer's name and social security number and having a complete summary of their entire tax account status in 5 minutes. Great news! Now you can. This is just the first page of the report. It shows the complete status of a taxpayer's account going back to 1990, including return filed, balance due, lien check, collections check, and audit check. A complete sample report will be shown later during this presentation. A problem well stated is a problem half solved. Charles Kettering, founder of Delco Electronics. Tax help software identifies your client's IRS problems in minutes, not hours. We currently offer one product, the Tax Help Software Pro Plus, which includes all of the following features. CAF Checker, which instantly checks the IRS server to see what years and which transcripts a user has CAF authority for. Transcript Requester requests and instantly downloads all types of personal transcripts and most business transcripts. Transcript Analysis Report Processor, which processes the data from the IRS transcripts into a comprehensive analysis, which allows the reader to quickly identify IRS issues and tax return errors and omissions. Our software is a desktop program, not a cloud application. All transcripts are downloaded directly to your computer from the IRS servers, and all transcripts and transcript analysis reports are stored on your computer. This program is proven with over 30 million IRS transcripts downloaded and 30,000 reports processed in the past 12 months. Why should you pull IRS transcripts? Everyone lies. Dr. Gregory House, MD from the TV show. Stop trying to figure out what your client's problem is by having them tell you. Gather their basic facts, collect any IRS correspondences, and have them sign a 2848 or 8821 so you can access their transcripts. I will now demonstrate the CAF Checker, Transcript Requester, and Report Processor. Let me start this demonstration with just a little bit of background about the program. The program is a desktop program that installs on your computer. It is not a cloud application. So at this point, I've already installed the software on the computer. We have shortcuts both here and here. And what we've done is during the installation process, we have entered our eServices username, password, our CAF number, and also selected the organization that has transcript delivery system access. I'm going to go ahead and open the software now. Every time we open the software, it'll check our servers to see if there's any software updates and update the program automatically. All right, our initial screen comes up. We've already captured our username, password, and CAF in the system, so all I need to do to access the program is enter my eServices password. And we come to the main menu. From here, we can launch the features of the program. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a quick CAF check. A CAF check is where you check to see if you have CAF authority for an entity, either an individual or a business. Go ahead and click the quick CAF check button. I'm going to go ahead and check my CAF authority over my spouse, who I've already sent a power of attorney in for. So I'm going to go ahead and select personal. And what I'm going to do here is just enter her basic information, her first name, her last name, and her social. Then I'm going to decide what years I'd like to check for. So in the first column we have account transcript, then return transcripts, wage and income, separate assessments, and civil penalties. I'm going to go back to account transcripts, and I'm going to request a check back to 1990. We're going to check 4 years of return transcripts and 10 years of wage and income. For the purposes of this example, I'm not going to check separate assessments or civil penalties. So now I'm going to go ahead and stage the request. It's now staged her request. I have two options here. I can either execute the request or come down here and add another person to the stage before I execute the request. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to go ahead and just check hers. You see we have the status window that pops up. This will give us our status on the IRS website as we contact their server. We've logged in successfully. We've selected our organization successfully. A CAF check should take anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds to check the authority. Right, we see that the requests are being made. And now the CAF request has been completed. We want to view the results. I'm going to go ahead and click yes. Expand this out, and you can see I don't have CAF before the year 2000 on my spouse. And also, even though I sent the power of attorney in for 2000 to 2015, they didn't give me access to the 2011 transcripts. Occasionally, you will see the IRS make mistakes like this. It's uncommon, but it does happen. In this case, I would just need to resubmit a power of attorney for my spouse for those years. But for purposes of the example, we'll go ahead and move on. From here, I can go ahead and either directly request transcripts for her since she's passed her CAF check. I would be able to click here, double click here, and now I can go ahead and change what years or what type of transcripts I want to make. But for purposes of this example, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the CAF check, and I'm going to come to a quick transcript request. I'm going to click on this request, and I'm going to request transcripts for her from scratch, as if we were starting from scratch without doing a CAF check. I'm going to go ahead and select personal again. I'm going to go ahead and enter her first name and her last name again, also her social. Then I'm going to come back down here, and I know I've got back to 2000 for her, so we're going to request her account transcripts back to 2000, return transcripts for the last 4 years. We're going to request all 10 years of wage and income transcripts plus all of the summary transcripts. I'm going to go ahead and stage the request. Now I'm going to go ahead and execute the request. We get our status window that pops up. We've successfully logged in. Now this one's going to take a little bit longer. It'll probably take between 2 and 3 minutes to get the 25 years of transcripts, but what we're going to do is go ahead and skip ahead here to save some time. All right, we've jumped ahead 2 minutes, and the transcript request is just coming to a conclusion. All right, we see that it's completed. And let me blow this up a little bit. As you can see, we got most of the transcripts we requested, everything except tax year 2011, which we knew we had a CAF check failure due to an IRS issue. So any one of these years that says CAF check success downloaded, we can click on that and it'll bring the transcript up. Now this isn't actually a real transcript. This is one I substituted. But as you see, view the transcript from here. We can print it and then close it. It's better if you view it from the main menu though. And I'll take you in here, back to the main menu, and we'll look at View All Transcripts. This is where you'll see a list of everybody that you've downloaded transcripts for. Has their name, followed by their social security number or EIN. Obviously, I have the social security numbers blocked out. Here we'll open up Joe Smith, who is a fictitious character, and I've created a set of transcripts for him. So from here, we can actually click on every one of these boxes. If we still believe in printing transcripts, we can go up here and click Print Selected, and it'll actually print all these transcripts that we select. In this case, let's just take another look. We'll look at the 2011 transcript. You see, there it is. And also, I wanted you to be aware that all these transcripts and the reports that we'll process are also in your My Documents folder by default. You can change which directory you actually download them to, but by default, everything that we've downloaded and all the reports we create will actually go into the My Documents folder or the folder you direct. This is an example folder of what the transcripts look like in the folder. So as you see, one of the benefits of the program is every time we download a set of transcripts, we have a folder that's created for the EIN or the social. And as you open it up, you can see we have an abbreviation of what type of transcript it is, what form, the tax year, and also the social security numbers. If there's 2, that means married filing joint. If there's 1, it means they filed single. And if it's 1040A, it's probably going to be an SFR. So anyways, all this data is on your computer and on your hard drive. And you can access it from in the program or from within File Explorer. So we'll go ahead and close this out. Open the program back up. And from here, we're going to go ahead and generate our reports. This will bring up a list of all the entities we've run transcripts on. In this case, we're going to go ahead and run a report on Joe Smith with the fictitious set of transcripts. We're going to go ahead and execute the request. Most computers, you're looking at 10 to 15 seconds. A slower machine may run as many as 45 seconds. So that one's pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and open this up, and we see that the report's been created. So we're going to double click on that, and it'll go ahead and open up the report. I'll go ahead and make it big here. So we have our cover page and our first page here. We only made transcripts back to 2006 for this data set, but as we see, owes $232,713. Again, we were able to run this, get the transcripts and run this report, have it in our hands in less than 5 minutes after we had CAF authority. This is where it will save you time and it'll be able to reduce your payroll. And I'll go ahead and take a quick look at the penalty screen. We didn't go far enough back here, so we can't determine if they qualify for first-time penalty abatement yet. We see we've got our CSET calculations, and I'll go ahead and get out of here. We've got another example report with some issues that we'll be looking at here in just a minute. Go ahead and close this out. And you can also go into the View All Reports button to view any reports that you've already run. In this case, I've already run 3. And you can access it that way. We've got one other feature. On occasion, when downloading large wage and income transcripts, they become too large to download online. And you'll get an error message saying that the transcript has been sent to your online mailbox. In that case, you would just come down and hit this button. Again, it'll log into the IRS website. But what this will do is it'll actually go into your mailbox and download and name any transcripts that happen to be in your mailbox. In this case, we didn't have any transcripts processed, but if there had been transcripts, it would have downloaded them to the same place that the rest of the program downloads them to. So from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through a sample report from the first page to the last page and go over the benefits of the report. This part of the presentation, we're going to go ahead and show you an example transcript analysis report. Again, you can have access to this report within 5 minutes of having CAF authority over an individual or business. First page here we have is the cover page. It has some basic information about your business and also who the report was prepared for. All right, there's over 30 sections in this report for the personal transcripts. The first page of the report is an overview of that taxpayer's complete account status back to 1990 if you so choose. So here we have the tax year. We show the last return filed, whether it's original, SFR, amended, or no return filed. We have the filing status of the return. If you see a married filing joint with an asterisk, that indicates the presence of a separate assessment, also known as a mirrored account. That's very important since the actual balance for their account with the IRS is on their separate assessment transcript and not the account transcript. If you see that flag, we don't show the balance over here because you actually need to pull the separate assessment transcript. The report will process that transcript and show the balance once you've obtained that transcript. And next we have extension date. We use these extension dates to calculate both the CSET and the bankruptcy discharge dates later in the report. And for these 3 columns here, lien active, collections active, and exam active, if we pulled a transcript, and we know we pulled a transcript because we have the date of the transcript over here, if the field is blank, it means that event never occurred. So in this case, no liens occurred for this year, it wasn't in collections, and no exams. If it actually shows a date, that means that event is open and still active. So they have active liens, active collections, and an open exam. If it says released, no, or closed, that indicates the lien's been released, collections is no longer active, and the exam has been closed. We also show the assessed balance and the accrued balance for each year. At the bottom, we show the total. So a quick overview of what we can learn from just the first page of data is that this taxpayer would qualify for the Fresh Start program. Their total debt is under $50,000. They have an open exam. They have at least 1 open year of collections, and they also have some active liens. So for this person, we would be able to create an accurate letter of engagement for them, and also have a great idea of what years and what is needed to go ahead and accomplish their resolution. Next, we have the penalty and interest dashboard. This page has the penalty, interest, and accrual amounts for each tax year and the totals. This is a great resource to determine if a client is eligible for penalty abatement. It's easy to do. You come to these two columns here. You find the oldest penalty. The prior 3 years are clear. This person would qualify for a penalty abatement of $626.75. They just missed an abatement of, over here in the total, $13,629 because they had the $626.75 the year before. So it's a great tool to go back and do the first time penalty abatement. And remember, they won't send checks on these old abatements, but what they will do is apply them to current debt. Next, we have the CSET Assessments. We show you each assessment for each tax year. You can have multiple assessments within each tax year. We show the original assessment. We show the date of the original assessment, the amount of the original assessment, the total tolling days that we calculate, and that's actually on the next section, and then we give you the estimated CSET. We also calculate the 3 bankruptcy discharge dates. At this time, we're not doing the tolling events for bankruptcy, quite frankly, because we haven't found 3 bankruptcy attorneys that can agree on what those are, but we look to add that sometime in December, possibly early next year. And from here, we'll go ahead and check our tolling events. And this is where we calculate the tolling events. We calculate the following tolling events: bankruptcy, Form 900, CDP hearing, offer and compromise, innocent spouse, military deferment, canceled IA, out of country. Pending IAs we don't, because the IRS doesn't actually calculate a pending IA as a tolling event, even though the IRM says they do. Because their system doesn't calculate it, we don't calculate it either. However, according to the IRM, it still is a tollable event. All right, next we have a 10-year tax return summary. We added the graphs to the report quite simply because the taxpayers like to look at pictures. This doesn't help us as tax professionals out in most cases. However, customers do like this if you decide to go ahead and give them any part of this report. And in this case, we just cover the basics from the tax return. We go back 10 years, 2012 to 2003 in this example. We show the filing status, the number of exemptions, their adjusted gross income, tax per return, and total self-employment income. Next, for every year that you've pulled an account transcript for, we go ahead and pull all the notices in here that they've received. We show you what year the notice was, what notice was issued, and the date it was issued. And for those of you that don't have this chart memorized as to what each notice is, we also provide the definitions of each notice that is on your particular report. All right, next, this is what the entire logic string on the entire report is based on. We take all of the account transactions from the account transcript and we put them into chronological order by year. And as you see here, this is an example of 2002. This up here would be the end of the transactions for 2001, and then this would be the start of the transactions for 2003. This allows you to see the story of what happened for each tax year. When there is a separate assessment or mirrored assessment present, we combine the transactions from both sets of transcripts to give you one continuous flow. In essence, you can read the story of what's happened to the taxpayer here. The account transcripts are not in chronological order. All right, this is the civil penalty dashboard. This report determines if there is a balance for any of the years requested. The report also indicates which years are missing and when each transcript was obtained. Civil penalties are extremely difficult to track, but this report makes them manageable. New account transcripts can be obtained weekly to follow up on progress. Every time we pull a new transcript, it will overwrite the same year transcript with the new data, and then when you run the report, it'll import the new data into the report. If you had to call the IRS for this taxpayer here, you would be on the phone with them for probably close to 2 hours, and the data that you would have in your Excel spreadsheet would probably not be accurate, as the IRS dictates each row off to you and you input the data into your spreadsheet. We also give you the account transactions for the civil penalties, but we do it by quarter here. So we have the tax year and the quarter, and then all the transactions in chronological order. This is also how the 941s are presented on the business transcripts or on the business report. So this is the kind of information that you'll have to review when you have the civil penalties and also the 941s. All right, the red flag report. We have two parts to the red flag report. On tax transcripts, you'll often see the terminology per computer. And what per computer means is that is what the IRS computers calculated whatever number they were looking at. And a quick example of that is there's three things that an IRS can do with a tax return once it's filed. They can accept it, they can reject it, or they can accept it with changes. And that's where per computer comes in. We look for when the IRS makes those changes. So even if you're a high-end CPA and your clients don't ever owe any debt and they're in good shape, chances are at some point they have received a letter from the IRS, at least one of them, where the IRS disallowed a credit waiting for more information. Well, oftentimes, what do taxpayers do with letters? They don't respond to them, they put them away. This is a great way that you can track your current tax clients and see if any changes have been done to their returns over the current year and the prior 3 years, which is well within the window to go ahead and do an amended return or provide whatever additional information the IRS requested to get them additional money that wasn't paid out originally. All right, and here's the second part of the red flag report. It looks at the current year and the prior 3 years, and it assesses an audit risk based on the numbers off the return transcripts. This one is red flag, Schedule A mortgage interest more than $1,500, and Schedule C expense for business use of home more than $1,500. That's a high probability that they've gone ahead and claimed mortgage interest in two spots, and it's something that you are going to want to go ahead and review with your taxpayer. Payment history is great for those taxpayers that often find themselves in trouble and make numerous payments. This is a great tool for your clients that are often in trouble to go ahead and reconcile with their own bank account to make sure that their payments have been allotted to where it's supposed to go and that it was actually recorded. All right, here's another tax return overview for the past 4 years, and what it shows is just kind of the overall sections of a tax return compared to each other. So what audit detective reports do is we look at data from different points of view. So we look at it compared to other tax years, and we also look at it towards other numbers in the same year. And by looking at these numbers in different ways, it allows us to see things that we normally can't see when we look at it one-dimensionally. So consider this an overview as you're looking over somebody's tax returns to see if there is a potential for any missing refunds or credits that they didn't claim. All right, we do a little bit with the wage and income transcripts. First thing we do is obviously you're allowed to go back 10 years for your wage and income transcripts. So what this part of the report does is shows you how many of each type of income document there is for each tax year. We also show your total corrected and or amended income documents. All right, and we also have a wage and income summary where again we go back 10 years and we go ahead and list all of the major income categories with the totals from their wage and income transcripts. We also show the totals over here. People really like to look at what they paid over a 10-year period, whether it's fun or sad to see how much you've made over 10 years. Customers really seem to like this part of the report. All right, the remainder of the report, it focuses on the 4 years of return transcripts, the current year and the prior 3 years. And what we do is we show you every line item that we can extract from the return transcript and compare it to the other 4 years. This is a great tool for reviewing all 4 years' returns to, again, check for errors, to check for omissions, to check for missing credits. A lot of times here you can see things that you wouldn't be able to see by looking at each tax return individually. And even if you did, you wouldn't be able to do it with near the time. This makes it efficient enough for you to review just regular taxpayer clients during the summer to see if there's any opportunities to do maybe amended returns or look for potential problems. Many people don't know this, but a lot of times an IRS audit will show up in the account transcript up to 2 months ahead of time of the actual audit. So it's interesting to get a start on an audit ahead of time before the client even has the letter from the IRS. All right, next we have adjustments to income, and just like any other section of this report, this allows you to come in and see if their adjustments are pretty steady over the years. Just this example alone, we said that they have an IRA deduction in the 1 year. They didn't do it in the other 2 years. Might be worth asking if they're still contributing to an IRA. And also here we have alimony paid in this 1 year. We could go back and look and see when they truly got divorced based on their filing status, or at least what they reported to the IRS. All right, this is the tax summary. This is all the various taxes that they paid. It's the 65 or over, blind, spouse over 65. It gives you an opportunity, again, just to review the last 4 years of the return. I can review an average taxpayer that I had done their return for. I usually spent less than 10 minutes just reviewing their data. That included getting the transcripts, going ahead and running through the report itself. It wasn't a lot of time. A lot of times I'd follow up with them in August, October, just a friendly hello. I've reviewed your information. Everything's good. And we didn't find any opportunities for any refunds. A lot of times we would make the calls where we did find something, though. All right, non-refundable credit summary. This one makes it very easy. In this case, let's assume that they had the child tax credit, but it was missing in 2011. I would see this numerous times when I was doing tax returns. For whatever reason in TurboTax, they would answer the questions incorrectly and they wouldn't get that credit. So you'd ask them, simply, where were the kids in 2011? Oh, they were here. I did TurboTax. Probably didn't do it right. Boom, you just found them $2,000. And sometimes it's as easy as that. Payment summary. Same as the non-refundable credit. You come in here and you look for things that have changed. We do this for each tax year. This again is an overview of all the numbers for just this tax year. This is also a good planning tool that you can give to your customers. It breaks down the different sections of the tax return up here and compares it down here. And now we're going to get into the schedules. So we've got schedules A through F. On this schedule A here, just a quick look, especially on Schedule A's and C's, when you see things that go out of the norm, that's when you need to look. Schedule B, never really seen Schedule B help anybody, but we do bring the information in for you to take a look at it. Schedule C's, we find a lot of information on these Schedule C's in the time that I used this while I was doing tax preparation. And again, people that do TurboTax and do Schedule A's and Schedule C's and Schedule E's, they do a terrible job at it. What this report allows you to do is find those mistakes very, very quickly, even quicker than if you were reviewing their return. All right, Schedule D summary, real quick, especially for your day traders, there's a lot of good information here. Schedule E, very similar to the Schedule A and C's. Finally, we have Schedule F. Didn't deal a lot with Schedule F as my time as a tax preparer. I've only done one, but from the people that I talk to out west that do a lot of Schedule Fs, this makes it easy, especially when they're doing a current year return for a new person. They can quickly pull up their data, and it allows them to help complete this year's return. That's not to say you just go ahead and add 10% for every year, and that's how you come up with your numbers, but it's nice to know what they've been claiming historically, especially when they don't have their old tax returns. We also offer a report on the business transcript. Each type of transcript includes a summary and the account transactions in the same format as the individual account transcripts and civil penalties. The following business transcripts are included: 1120, 1120S, 1065, 940, and 941s. The logic calculations done on the personal transcripts will be released for the business transcripts in 2015 on an enterprise product. This is an example of how we represent the data on the 1120, the 1120S's, 1065s, and 940s, and also on the 941s. Each one of these also includes the transactions in chronological order.